bacon? Yeah, we like bacon, huh, baby? So we made chocolate smoothies for Valentine's Day. They're from a website called Yummy Toddler Food though, because they're supposed to be healthier smoothies because it also has spinach and avocado and that kind of stuff in there. It's supposed to also have zucchini, but we didn't have that, so we added more avocado. So we do have iron and fat, and we put some peanut butter in there for protein, and it is basically bananas and milk with some chocolate too. So pretty darn good, but he's all over the bacon. Good morning everyone and happy Sunday. Today is Valentine's Day, but also the first day of the Demonathon. Darkest Night, I believe, is the round we're in. I did not get to do Demonathon before, but it is something that I wanted to do, and so I'm very, very excited about this one. I love the fact that we did have to go to the website and go through and find prompts, like in a dark forest thing that had like a quiz. It was very interactive and I loved it. And we do have 6 prompts to complete, so I do have 6 books here that I wanted to talk about just to sort of introduce what we're doing. Because the Demonathon is actually from the 14th through the 28th of February, I'm gonna be splitting this up into 2 reading vlogs because I'm probably gonna talk a lot, especially since I do have 6 individual books picked out for this, and so I'm gonna try and plan on doing like 3 and 3, and I'll introduce all of the books that I'm planning on reading now, and then we'll see as we go through the week what order I read them in. So the first prompt is to read a book with a dark cover. For that one, I'm going with Wolfsong by TJ Klune. This is the only ebook I have picked out for this readathon right now, but we're also in the middle of the fantasy romance readathon that is all through the month of February, and this is one of the books that I picked out for that. I know it's probably more paranormal romance because I think it has to do with werewolf or shifter type of stuff, but I'm very excited. I don't know much else, but I have friends that absolutely love this book, so I'm very, very excited. The next prompt is to read a book set in winter or set in the snow. This one was very, very hard for me because I don't remember what season a lot of books are set in, and I don't feel like I have a lot of snow or like polar type of books, but I did pick The Arctic Incident, which is the second book in the Artemis Fowl series. I've been wanting to reread this series for a while. It's one of my favorite middle grade series, and I want to get to the Fowl Twins, which is a sequel spin-off series that I've owned the first book since it came out. You want to be on camera too? He was mad that I was over here without him playing with books because he thinks these are toys. But yes, I've owned the first book in the spin-off series since it came out, and I've been wanting to reread these before I get to that, and I just have been putting it off. So we're going to be doing this one. Then the next prompt is to read something comforting or something that you have read already before. And so we're going with the first book in the Artemis Fowl series, because if I'm going to be rereading the whole series, I definitely need to start at book 1. Then we have read a book about strangers meeting. Now I feel like a lot of books probably are good with this, but the one that I picked is A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova, because again, we are in the middle of Fantasy Romance February, and I'm pretty sure these are strangers, and then, you know, fantasy and romance stuff happens. The next prompt is to read a book that has been on your shelf or TBR forever. So we're going with Starfleet Academy, The Delta Anomaly by Rick Barba. This I added on my Goodreads as I wanted to read it in like 2012, and I'm pretty sure that's when I bought this book as well. So it is one of the oldest books on my TBR, also one of the oldest books on my Goodreads, which you could have just gone for either one that you've said you wanted to read for a while, or one that you've owned for a while, and this definitely counts. It is very, very short because it's a YA Star Trek book, and so I love Star Trek. I'm very excited for this one, and it should be very quick and easy to get through. And then the last prompt is to read a book by a Black author, and I have Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope. This one, again, for the Fantasy Romance February, but it is written by a Black author. This one I picked up sometime last year, and I definitely want to get to it. It's a chunker of a book. I know Wolfsong is as well, but you can see how big of a chunk it is, and that's why I've sort of put it off a little bit, but I'm very, very excited. This is definitely a magic system in a world that is unlike our own, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to work, because I believe our main character in this one has Earth Song or something like that, so I'm assuming Earth powers. Very, very excited. And so those are the books that are my main priority for these next 2 weeks coming up. However, there was one more book that I wanted to get to during Fantasy Romance February, Thank you for my phone. And that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I meant to start it a couple days ago, but it's like over 650 pages, and I ended up only getting through like 8 minutes of reading a couple days ago before Presley decided he wanted my attention, and I just put it down and did not pick it back up. I didn't get that far. I don't even know how many pages in I am because I have it as an ebook, but if for whatever reason I am able to fit that in as well during these next 2 weeks that you see on this readathon, because it's going through the end of February, I'm going to be attempting to read that as well. However, these other books are my priority, and that's it for now. It is Valentine's Day. We're staying home, not doing anything, but we did have a good breakfast already, which you guys got to see. So I will have to pick my first book. Should I go with the Delta Anomaly just to really speed through my first read and make it seem like that was super easy? That might be where we go, because usually if I do a readathon and I have like a manga choice, I try to do the manga first. So this is the shortest one. I think we might be going with this. Can you say? Oh yeah? Oh, controller? And the tripod? Yeah, this is all mama stuff back here, huh? Are you helping?
Hi.
Yeah, that's Presley. Good job. Oh, head and toes. Good job. Okay, so we just had lunch, and Presley is going to be taking a nap soon, but before we do that, I did get at least halfway through the Delta Anomaly so far. It took me like 50 minutes to read like 100 and something pages, I don't know, but I am, as you can see here, a little bit more than halfway through. It's okay so far. I don't think it works super well as a Star Trek story, just because it doesn't feel like the characters have the right characterization, and I don't know if it's because they're supposed to be younger, they're in Starfleet, or what it is, but it just feels a little bit off that way. That being said, the actual like plot of some sort of mysterious black smoke potentially housing an entity that is like trying to kill people sounds intriguing, and I'm very curious to see where it's gonna go, because we do have sort of high stakes with some of the characters that like we should know and love because of, you know, Star Trek, but at the same time the actual characterization doesn't fit all that well. They just don't quite feel fleshed out enough. And, you know, potentially if this was like my first introduction into Star Trek novels, maybe I would like it a little bit better, but I did read Legacy last month by Michael Jan Friedman, which was my reintroduction to Star Trek novels this year, because it's been a couple years since I've actually read any, and that one was really well done with characterization and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Also, because this is set in Starfleet Academy, Kirk is, you know, very much woman, girl focused. He is like any character, even Uhura, which I know in the movie, because this is based on like the 2009 movie, he does sort of like flirt with her a little bit at the beginning, but like it's not a huge deal, and especially by the time they're like graduating the academy basically, or, you know, getting further in the academy, they have more of like almost like a sarcastic flirting thing. Like he doesn't seem like he's actually interested in her. However, in this, he keeps talking about like how she's cute when she's mad, and like he wants to make her uncomfortable on purpose, and it's just not, it's not a good look for him. So yeah. I do love the fact that we have the picture of like the main cover under the dust jacket as well. Like it's printed on the book just without the actual words besides here. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna finish it today because I have less than half to go, and the first half took me less than an hour. Definitely a good choice to start with in that time factor. And like I said, Presley's gonna be taking a nap soon, so we're gonna be doing that, and then I'm gonna have to edit a video, and then I'll probably finish this. So I just finished uploading the CC stuff and finalizing all of that for my video that is going up tomorrow. But after Presley woke up from his nap, and before I came in here to do this, I did actually finish the Delta Anomaly by Rick Barba. I think I'm gonna give it like 3 stars. Very middle of the road for me, mostly because of what I said before. they're not Star Trek character personalities. I don't know if it was just that they're trying to simplify things a little bit too much, because I think the summary on Goodreads is literally just like Star Trek for YA. Like, it was like nothing is on there. And it wasn't necessarily bad. It was sort of interesting about like what was actually going on with this like cloud monster thing, alien technically from the Delta sector or something, which is why it's the Delta Anomaly. But we also didn't really get a conclusion. Like, the book finished, we got a little bit of information, but there was no big resolution. I have no idea, like, if they just left it open for more books in the series or what, because there are 4 books total in the series, but we didn't get like answers or a conclusion or basically anything. So I'm a little disappointed in that aspect as well, but mostly just because the characters didn't really feel like the characters we know. And like, yes, they're younger, they're in Starfleet Academy, this is the, you know, 2009 version, so it's not the original series, it's like the alternate universe one or whatever it is, but they still just didn't feel quite right. So 3 stars. I do own all 4 books in this series, so eventually I'll probably continue on to see if it gets better, but they're not like things that I'm looking forward to as much anymore. So yeah, I need to finish the CC stuff. Like, I've gotten everything finalized. I need to make sure everything's ready for tomorrow. And then it is 5:20 right now, so we will probably figure out dinner soon. And then I am planning on reading more tonight because I usually read at night in bed anyway. And I will let you know what I pick. Say hi.
Nana.
Hi. Can you say hi? You want to hold it? Nope. Okay, so we did just finish dinner. It's like 7:15. We're going to be getting Presley ready for bed soon. But I thought I would let you know that I have decided to read Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope next. This is one of the bigger books on my list for this readathon. And so since I read the shortest one, I figured I might as well delve into a big old one. Now, this one I did also have for a Black author, like we talked about before, but it also is going to be for the Fantasy Romance February because it is a fantasy romance. L. Penelope was also one of their like featured authors earlier in the month, and I've had this book since sometime last year, and I'm very curious about it. There's a whole magic system. It is quite thick, but I'm very excited to jump in, and so since I do a lot of reading at night in bed, this will be the one that I'm hoping to get quite a chunk done tonight. Hello, it is now officially Monday. It is actually like 4 something in the afternoon though, and I haven't read anything yet today. As you guys sort of saw earlier, I have started making shortbread because this is Presley's like favorite treat to have. He doesn't get it all the time, but there's not much sugar in them, so like I don't feel bad if I do give him 1 or 2 on certain days, so it's not a horrible thing. But I've been sort of lazy today. I've played Dragon Age Origins, I've played Sims 4, I haven't done any booktube stuff, which I wasn't planning on doing today anyway. I was taking a break because I did a lot yesterday, but I haven't read anything either because I've just been sort of playing games. But I did start Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope last night. I'm only like 38 pages in, but so far I really enjoy the writing style. I haven't gotten to know the characters too much except for Jasminda, who is our main female character. We have gotten to see her a little bit in like the town that she lives in, or like she lives apparently like on a farm near a town, and she's basically the only Black person there, and so she's very much looked down upon because it does actually appear that she lives in El Sira, which is basically white people with red hair, and then she is half Black. Her dad was Black and he is Lagrimari, which is the other warring nation across the mantle. So I think that's probably why she's looked down upon, probably a little bit less for her actual skin tone than the fact that like they're warring nations. However, it does appear that the warring nations are Black versus white, so it is probably skin tone as well. But I'm absolutely loving it so far. I know that seems weird because that's less than 40 pages in, but I really am enjoying it. It was really easy to get into. Like, we are having some world building, obviously, but nothing has been info dumpy yet. I'm very, very excited to continue. We did get to the part where she meets Jack, who is like an Elsyrian spy who was in Lagrimar, and he and the people that he was spying on don't realize that they're in Elsyra because she's black. She looks Lagrimari, so it's very interesting, but that's exactly where I left off. So I definitely want to read more of this today. I don't know how much I'm going to actually get done this evening. It might be tonight after Presley goes to bed, because that's where I like to do a lot of reading, but loving the writing style so far, and I definitely want to continue. Are you eating yogurt? Yogurt with a gigantic wooden spoon because you dropped your other one? And now you're a mess. Are you all done, baby? Are you all done? Uh-oh, we dripping stuff. Good morning and happy Tuesday. I did do some reading last night in Song of Blood and Stone. I got up to page 128, which does not sound like a ton. It was like 89 pages or something, which I am proud of because I totally put this off until last night in bed. And I'm absolutely loving it. So I definitely need to like sort of suck up my day and actually read. Somehow right now reading feels a little bit more time intensive, more brain power than playing video games when I have downtime with Presley. I don't want him watching TV a whole bunch, and so the video games that I play though, he has no interest in. So he plays with his toys a little bit more when I have that on. But like I said, I'm absolutely loving this. They do have some trigger warnings in the part that I read last night, specifically for rape stuff. Talk about rape, almost rape, attempted rape, and also, hi baby. Yeah, are you on the camera? Can Mama borrow it really quick? Mama was talking. Thank you. And also death of a woman during childbirth. So yes, definitely keep that in mind. Again, I'm not giving any spoilers away, especially since this is a fantasy romance. Very heavy on the fantasy so far, light on the romance right now. We have multiple different points of view. So far, I think we've had 4 points of view in here. One of them we haven't gotten too much of, and I'm expecting to possibly get more of his point of view later. And our 2 main characters are going to be Jasminda and Jack from the amount of point of view that we've gotten, but we've also gotten introduction into the sort of religion system in Elsyra, and I don't know if there's a religion system in Lagrimar that we've gotten, but we have gotten to know the prince or the king a little bit, like what goes on with that and the magic systems. So again, really loving this, loving the world building. He is trying to get this camera so bad, and it's not info dumpy at all because it's taken like 120 something, almost 130 pages to even get little bits of information, but it's coming together really well. Say hi to the camera. Yeah. So it is currently like 4 p.m. and I just thought I would do an update. I'm 180 something pages into Song of Blood and Stone. You can't have it right now. Can you wait just a second? Mama's talking. Should we talk to the camera later? Okay, he might be distracted, but I'll try not to speak too loud just in case. So I got to page 180 something of Song of Blood and Stone, really enjoying it still. And then I took a break because I'm in this weird position where I'm like absolutely loving the book, but I don't want it to go by too quickly, so I'm not like devouring it. I'm reading less than 100 pages at a time and then deciding I need to take a break. I think we also decided to stop for lunch or something at one point. He heard me. we'll see how much I can get done. Then when he took a nap, I did read Hello Moto by Nnedi Okorafor, which is one of the buddy reads for the Demonathon. And I read the other one, Hungry Daughters of Starving Mothers by Alyssa Wong, at the very beginning of this month, because I didn't realize it was a buddy read. They just had it as part of the scavenger hunt for the prompts, and that one I gave 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed that, but it is very dark. This one that I read, the Hello Moto, I gave 3 stars. It was much shorter actually than the other read, and I didn't get enough from it. You want it? This means I want. The min. A min. I want or mine, but no, it's mine. Okay, so we are making homemade pizza tonight. We have pre-bought store crusts and everything like that, but the actual like putting the pizza together stuff, we do put it in the oven. And I guess I'm gonna be trying to continue the conversation I was trying to have earlier when Presley, you know, interrupted me. Not a big deal, but can't remember exactly where we left off. Probably, I think I had just finished talking about Hello Moto, which again, I gave 3 stars. It was not necessarily bad, but I did not feel like I got enough picture at all, because I want to say that one is actually under 20 pages long, very potentially, and it just felt very incomplete. I did like the ending, because some of the reviews that I was seeing online where people are like, oh, it ended very abruptly, and I liked the ending. Like, you still sort of knew what was happening with that. But overall, I believe it was set in Nigeria. I think that's what they mentioned a couple times. And it follows 3 women who have like part technology, part magic wigs. And it sort of turned them bad, potentially. I don't actually know. We just didn't get enough information. So while I was very intrigued, I wanted more from it. And then, that was during nap time. After that, we actually did have Presley wake up a little bit early. I think he slept for like an hour and a half by himself when normally we get around 2 hours. And so he ended up falling asleep again on me on the couch. And it's very hard to pick up a like 600-page book, which is basically what Song of Blood and Stone is, and read it while he's on me. So instead, I started Wolfsong by TJ Klune, which is my dark book cover. And so, yeah, I got 8% in of that, so I think that was like 30-something pages. It was, again, only like half an hour-ish of reading, but it's so much easier to read on an ebook, and I'm already having feels. This starts when Ox, I believe is our main character, when he's like 13 or 14 years old, and his dad walks out on him, and just the feelings I was getting. The writing style is very interesting because of the fact that Ox is not supposed to be very bright and everything is told through his point of view as of so far. I don't know if he's going to be the only point of view character or if there's going to be other ones, but I'm just really loving the way it's written. I'm really loving the emotions. I teared up at one point, and so I definitely want to keep reading that, but I also want to keep reading Song of Blood and Stone, and I think tonight in bed I will be reading Song of Blood and Stone because I really do want to continue that, and that's the one I've made the most progress in so far. I don't think I've necessarily mentioned this exactly in this vlog yet. I did mention that I read in bed a lot. However, I know I've mentioned in other vlogs, Presley sleeps in our bed with us. That is the only place he sleeps. And so because of that, he wants us to be in bed with him. At least one parent, usually me. So when we go upstairs for bedtime at like 7:30, we do bath, we do books, and then we get in bed. And he usually falls asleep between 8 and 9. It really just depends on how big his day was that day. But then I have to stay in bed because if he starts to wake up at all, 1, he's on a big bed and I don't want him to fall off. But 2, he needs somebody there to be with him, to cuddle him. My husband will sometimes do that if I, you know, have stuff going on, but when I'm just reading, I just stay in bed. I have a book light, I have, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that is the plan for tonight and probably all this week basically. But after dinner, we will be definitely doing more reading in bed, and I'll probably have to talk to you guys about that tomorrow, but really enjoying it. It's one of the longer books. Then again, Wolfsong is too. They're the 2 long books that I have going on. I think they're the 2 longest books I have for this readathon, and I'm basically reading them both at the same time now. So yeah, I'm gonna continue chopping things up for pizza because obviously with me talking, I stopped cutting. Good morning, happy Thursday. I didn't really film anything yesterday, mostly because I didn't read anything until I went to bed last night. Partially because I ended up filming, editing, and CCing a video all yesterday. Partially because Presley only had like an hour and a half nap yesterday and did not fall back asleep on me for me to do some reading after nap time, or I guess during nap time like I sometimes do. And also, I ended up playing more Dragon Age Origins yesterday. I'm close to the end of the game, and I just got a little bit tied up in that. So I didn't read anything until I went to bed last night. And then when I was in bed last night, you're okay, we're gonna watch Yo Gabba Gabba. He wants Yo Gabba Gabba so bad. We're gonna watch it and hopefully read at the same time as me watching it. And then last night I did read some of Wolfsong. I got up to page like 80 something or 90 something, I can't actually remember off the top of my head, and I'm really loving it. The writing style is very different than what I would normally be used to. Like, it's just a little bit more choppy in like paragraphs and that kind of stuff, which is not a bad thing because it's all told from Ox's point of view. So I like the way that it's being told. But I didn't want to use my book light last night, which is why I didn't read Song of Blood and Stone, although I am loving that one as well. And the one thing that I do know about Wolfsong, because I don't actually know a lot about it, but I'm pretty sure it is like a slow burn romance. And we're still where our main character Ox is like 17, so he is still young. But the person that I think he is going to end up with is like 5 years younger than him right now. I think he's like 12. And the thing is, I would be a little bit uncomfortable with an age gap like that in some books. However, TJ Klune is definitely writing it without any sort of romance or any sort of feelings that way yet, as far as I can see. And so it is 100% a friendship first, and I absolutely love how that is working out. And then I'm sure we get into the slow burn friends to lovers stuff eventually, because I'm pretty sure that's where we're going. So even though it did start off with the characters being very young, and we're still quite young, and there is an age gap going on, I'm still absolutely loving it. Like, I'm just loving the emotions with it. And yeah, I'm basically reading 2 books at once. I'm loving them both. It's gonna be hard figuring out what I want to read today, but because I am gonna let him watch Yo Gabba Gabba, which he is waiting so patiently for right now, I will be trying to read some while he's doing this. We only watch 1 or 2 episodes at a time, and they're like 20-25 minutes each. So yeah, maybe I'll try and pick up Song of Blood and Stone, because I definitely want to get jumped back into both worlds, and I have to pick one. Okay, it is 4:27, and Presley just woke up from his nap. He had sort of a long nap today because he woke up a little early this morning. He was a little bit cranky until he actually got to go down for a nap. But he slept for an hour and a half or so by himself. Slept the rest of the time on me. I'm currently heating up our snack. I made fried pickles yesterday, and they're amazing. But we had some leftovers, so I'm slowly heating some up. We're gonna have snack time, but because he did end up sleeping on me, I did get almost 80 pages of Wolfsong read. Still really, really enjoying it. It's a long book, but like not in a bad way. Like, I want more. I do find it a little bit predictable so far, but again, not a bad thing. I'm still loving the writing style. I think it's going to be a great book. Like, I'm really, really enjoying it. However, I do know that this series follows different characters, like as the main characters for each book, and I'm just like itching to get Gordo's story, which is the second book. So I'm not complaining about Wolfsong whatsoever. I really, really do enjoy what I'm reading. I'm loving my reading time. However, to me, I want more of Gordo, and so I don't even know why, if it's just because we don't know a ton about him yet, and I know he's gonna be in the next book. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it. I also love the fact that they have said on page that Ox is bisexual. I love it when they flat out use the words instead of just like implications of stuff. Presley's currently watching Yo Gabba Gabba in the background while I make food because I didn't want him in the kitchen with me. But otherwise, yeah, I said I was gonna read this morning. Didn't actually read this morning. I was looking up how to wean Presley off a pacifier, so I was doing that instead. But otherwise, I do want to get more reading of Song of Blood and Stone done today as well. Maybe we'll do that this afternoon. If not, I'm hoping to do that in bed, as long as I'm okay with pulling out my book light. I just didn't want to do that last night, so I read Wolfsong. So I'm in the middle of 2 really good, really long books, but I'm really enjoying it. Good morning and happy Friday. I am currently trying to plop my hair right now. My curls have not been the best. They were much better before Presley was born. Like, it was super curly, sometimes a little frizzy, but ever since he was born, I feel like they've deflated a little bit. And I know your hair can change in pregnancy. Part of it also might have been that I did the overtone hair dyeing thing, but it's like with a deep conditioner, and I feel like maybe I conditioned too much and my curls fell out a little bit. I don't know. I haven't done that in months, and so I don't know if you guys can tell in my videos, but I feel like my roots, you can see a little bit more. It's still red, it's just more of like an auburny brown red than the rest of my hair that's like further out, because obviously I'm growing it out, and hopefully some of my texture comes back, because that was one thing I always loved about my hair, was my curls. So I'm filming a video today. I'm going to attempt with Presley to film my March TBR, because I know what I want to read. I want to get it over with. I want to know what I'm doing. I always do this around the last 2 weeks of the month, so I'm always thinking ahead. I already have some plans for April. Like, I'm always thinking ahead about what I want to read, which is probably not the healthiest thing. Like, I want to be a mood reader sometimes, but I plan everything ahead. But I made some whipped coffee. We've been doing this since forever. When did it start? Like almost a year ago, like when quarantine started last March, so almost a year. And I don't have TikTok. I did not learn about it on TikTok. I saw YouTubers and booktubers and things like that doing it, and I tried it, and this is our preferred way to have coffee now. I do enough for my husband and I twice, and then we put half in the fridge for later, because it's just easier. But I absolutely love it this way. I love how much coffee flavor there is, but there is still, you know, sugar and milk technically, because I don't like black coffee, but I absolutely love this. Presley did not have a good night's sleeping last night. He did not go to sleep, like actually fall asleep, until almost 10, which is a whole hour later than he should have. 9 is usually the latest, and even then I'm like, go to sleep. But, you know, it's just what happened. He looked like he was going to go to sleep like 5 different times last night, and at the last second he would just open his eyes and sit up in bed. I don't know. He's currently eating banana strawberry yogurt and pumpkin bread right now, so he's being really good over there, just chowing down. We have this kitchen stool thing that we actually got him for Christmas, and that's how we like to eat breakfast in the morning. Can you say hi? Yeah, you have your spoon and your fork. But so he's being really good over there. But because of that, I really wanted to get more of Song of Blood and Stone read last night, because I think I mentioned I'm loving both of the books that I'm reading. However, today is Friday, and tomorrow I'm closing out this week's vlog. I'm gonna be doing next week's vlog as well to continue through the end of February. But I need to finish a book. Like, that's my goal for the rest of this week, today and tomorrow basically, to finish one of the books I'm reading. So I'm halfway through Song of Blood and Stone. I read like an extra 25 pages yesterday of that, which I wanted to read more, but I started picking that book up right before I had to make dinner, and then I made dinner, and then we had to get Presley ready for bed, and then he did not go to bed. So I only got 25 pages of that done. I did actually read more in Wolfsong though, because of the fact that he was taking so long to go to bed and all this kind of stuff. I actually found it easier to read on my phone when I could, and I read over 100 pages of Wolfsong yesterday. I don't know the full number, but I'm closing in on the halfway mark of that book now. I'm like 42 or 43% in. So I'm almost halfway with both of these books, and both of these books are like almost 500 pages, or they are over 500 pages. So they're big books. They're both books I'm loving. They're both books I'm sort of wanting to take my time with, but at the same time, like, I need to know more, especially Wolfsong. We got to a part where shit went down. Am I even at 40%? Am I at 30%? No, I think I'm closing in on 40%, but like shit went down at like 30%. And I need more. Like, I need to know what's going to happen. So I need to suck it up and pick a book to finish in the next 2 days. But I'm loving both of them. I also have to film a video. At least it's going up on Monday. I'm not doing a video this Saturday because we've just been too crazy this week. Like I said, Presley didn't sleep very well last night, but he also peed the bed this morning. So he's probably gonna hate me when he gets older if he ever watches these, but this is the first time he's peed the bed in weeks because we went cold turkey on bottles. He was a kid that has always wanted bottles and milk to go to sleep, and they technically don't need it after like 6 months, like for health nutrition wise, but some kids like it for comfort, especially like if you're breastfeeding or something. We haven't been breastfeeding since he was like 2 months old because he just didn't like it, but he always wanted bottles at night. So we went cold turkey on bottles a couple weeks ago, and that has reduced how much he's peeing at night, which is great. However, because he took forever to fall asleep, and he does have a water bottle, like one of these with a straw, because he took forever to fall asleep, he drank almost the entire thing at the beginning of the night. Then Leon was up late working, and he didn't come to bed until like 2 something, and Presley was sort of awake when he came into bed, and because of that, I was awake. So I had to get up to go pee, and Presley does not like it if I get out of bed at night. So he cried while I was in the bathroom the whole time, which means he woke himself up, and he didn't want to go back to bed at that time. So we just had a bad night last night. And then he peed the bed at like 6 this morning. And so we had to get up and change the sheets and change him. And then now we're just awake. So we're having breakfast. I want to read for sure. That's my update for now. I'm going to finish my coffee because I need some. And I will probably talk to you guys later. We are just about to have lunch, but I did realize that I never really talked about Song of Blood and Stone yet. We talked about Wolfsong a lot this morning, probably because that was like the thing I read last night. But I have read more now. I am more than halfway through. I'm on chapter 26, page 326, and again, really loving this one. But I don't know how much I can actually talk about right now, only because of the fact, focus on me. There we go. I don't know how much I can actually talk about this insofar as the fact that like I wanted to mention that like when I was halfway through, I had almost like an epiphany about this where I think I understand partially of like where it's going. Like I have a theory, but because I don't want to give anything away, I don't want to have any spoilers going on with this, I can't actually tell you what my theory is. I told my husband, and so if I'm right, I'm going to be super happy that I'm right because it's very clever what I think it is. And like if it happens, there's so many implications in this, and I'm just waiting for that to happen. But also in the last chapter I read, or the chapter before that, we finally got a little bit of sexy times in here because it is a fantasy romance, but it happened on like page 300-ish. So like we took that long to actually get there. We have so much development of characters. I am absolutely loving this one so much. I actually own the second one of this one as well. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to read that this month or anything like that. And I think the third one is out, and I think there's going to be a fourth one. But yes, this is so good. I am so excited to see how this is going to end. I think I'm making my decision now. This is the book that I'm going to try to finish by the end of tomorrow. because I have to. Okay, I think it's sometime around 3 something. I'm cooking cookies in the oven right now, so it doesn't have a clock, it only has a timer. But I think I mentioned earlier this week that I didn't read because I was looking up ways to wean off Presley from his passies. We have these from Frida Baby. So basically, you can come out if you want, I'm just vlogging. So basically they are just passies that have like a hole cut in them, like the tip is cut off, and each one gets progressively, can we see it? Maybe, there, see, like a hole in there. Progressively more and more cut, so smaller and smaller. And you do each one for like a couple days, and ultimately they don't want the passy anymore because like it gets down to like nothing. You can technically do this yourself. I was not fully comfortable cutting my kid's pacifier because there have been stories about like, oh, pieces of plastic coming off, because it's like it's not sealed off. Like these are actually how the plastic is meant to be. There's no ragged edges, there's nothing potentially choking on it. So we're gonna try this. The shape of it is not exactly right. He's staring at me right now. He's eating strawberries and watching Yo Gabba Gabba, so I could turn the oven on and everything without him in here. He hears me talking and he keeps looking over at me, very suspicious like. So we'll see how these work, because they're not the right shape of his passy, but he needs to be weaned off his passy. The last time we went in for like his doctor appointment, they said that they could start to see the shape of his mouth forming to the passy thing, which it's not permanent yet. That happens later on, but we don't want that at all. So we're gonna try this. It was only like 20 bucks on Amazon. I think they have it at Target as well. And we've had Frida Baby for other things, so we're gonna try this and see if it works. But we need to wash them first, and you guys will see the progress through this vlog and the next vlog, because we're hoping that this is gonna work in less than 10 days. Hopefully he will be done with passies. Hello and happy Saturday. It is actually almost noon because we did not have the best night last night with the brand new passy. He did okay at first. We put the passy in his mouth and he sucked on it a little bit, and then he like pulled it out of his mouth and was like, what did you give me? So he did okay, but he did end up more whiny than usual, probably because he knows it's not exactly the same. And he did wake up at like 3-ish and was awake crying for a while because it was just not working very well. But I don't know. We also got up a little bit earlier than normal, not too bad, and he actually fell asleep and had like a 30-minute nap at like 8:30. He was just so tired. But we're hoping, because the whole goal is to get him off the passies, that as we go through it'll be better. He only has this passy for like today, and then we're supposed to switch tomorrow to the next one, so we'll see. But I did actually finish Song of Blood and Stone last night. I read like almost 250 pages of this yesterday. I think it was like 240 something. I absolutely love this book. This is such a good book. It is a 5-star for me. It is probably one of my new favorites. It was such a good read, such an easy read to get into. I absolutely loved our characters. I will say it is definitely more fantasy than romance, but there is romance in here, and I loved Jasminda and Jack. We also get to see Ella and Ben quite a bit as well, and I don't think they're necessarily main characters, but everything just came together so well. Like, you definitely see why we get their points of view too. Like I mentioned before, I do have the second book, and I definitely want to read it sooner rather than later, but I just don't know exactly when. And the 4th book, which is the last book in this series, is coming out this year in like August. So I think I definitely want to continue with the series and potentially get that one when it comes out. So I have the second one. I don't have the 3rd one yet, but I think that might be a goal for this year, is to read and finish the series, because I absolutely love this. The part where I mentioned that I had some guesses as to where this was going at like the halfway mark, I was definitely right. And I don't think it was necessarily meant to be a reveal, because the further we get into the story, the more we get to see from Jasminda's point of view and everything. It makes sense. Like, it just feels like obvious to me that that's where it was going, but it was still such a good ride. It was so well written. I absolutely love this. I will say that there are probably people that would read and review this and be like, oh, well, everything just fell together too easily. It just felt too easy, like everything just like magically came together. There was too many coincidences maybe. However, for me personally, especially because in this book we definitely have a couple different like religions in here, and there's quite a bit of emphasis put on those religions like through certain characters. I feel like maybe it was just supposed to be like divine intervention or divine will or whatever it is, but it felt right that it came together so easily. Like, I absolutely loved this. So well done. And like I mentioned before, this definitely is for the fantasy romance readathon, but also completes the prompt for reading by a Black author for the Demonathon. So yes. Then, because Presley did take a like half-hour nap this morning, I got a little bit more reading in Wolfsong done. I started crying. Oh my gosh, like how did I stop at the part I stopped at the last time I read? And then like the first chapter I read now was like the aftermath of stuff, and I'm just like, why did I stop where I stopped? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish that book today, because again, I'm a little bit less than halfway through, and it's one of the longer books, just like Song of Blood and Stone, but I'm absolutely loving it. It's a completely different feeling in this book versus Song of Blood and Stone, just because, I don't know, I feel like Song of Blood and Stone is a little bit happier, a little bit more hopeful, even though it does have the trigger warnings that I mentioned earlier in the video. It does have some dark parts, whereas Wolfsong, I don't know, it just feels darker right off the bat, especially since we end up starting that book with Ox's dad leaving him completely. And it's just gotten darker from there. We have definite trigger warnings for torture and murder and blood and violence, and there's a lot going on right now, but I'm still absolutely loving it so much. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I'm hoping, obviously, to read more Wolfsong later today, but this is going to be the last day for this vlog, so I will wrap everything up later on today, and if I don't finish Wolfsong today, I will definitely be continuing that one first in next week's vlog. Okay, so it is just after dinner, just after 7 p.m. We're going to be having to put Presley to bed soon, and while I do plan on reading more Wolfsong tonight, I figured I might as well close out this week's vlog because of the fact that, like, I don't think I'm finishing it tonight, and I'm probably not going to want to talk to this camera again when I'm done doing my reading tonight. Earlier today, I was at 42% of Wolfsong, and I'm now at 67%. I've been reading quite a bit today because this is definitely one of those stories where I'm like drawn in so much and like I have to know what's going on, especially since this isn't just like a romance. And I know I went in expecting some sort of romance, and there definitely is, but to me it is like so much more of the found family aspect, which is one of my favorite like tropes in books, and this is like the epitome of found family stuff. So I'm absolutely loving it, but because of that, there's not really been like romance. So I'm just, you know, saying definite found family. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm 67% of the way in. I do also use Bookly to tell me like how long something is going to take me to read, and even though I am also reading this on my Kindle app, and that also tells me how long it's going to take me to read, Bookly is saying it's going to take me about 2 hours and 15 minutes total to finish the book, and Kindle app's saying 2 hours and 6 minutes. So they're pretty comparable, which does, you know, always tell me that Bookly's pretty darn good, because I use that to track how long it's going to take me to read my physical books as well. And so yeah, just over 2 hours left in this book. I might actually finish it tonight, just depending on like what time Presley falls asleep, because I'm really loving it. It is very dark in parts, but really enjoying it. I don't know if I can say enough reallys right now. But yeah, so this is the last day for this vlog, the first week of like the Demonathon, and Fantasy Romance February has been going on through all of February, so obviously it's not like the first week of that, but a lot of the books that I'm reading for Demonathon also fit for that readathon. So I think I've officially read 3 books so far this week. Obviously we started with the Delta Anomaly, which, you know, not my favorite of Star Trek books. I've definitely read better, but I own the whole series of that, and so I probably will continue eventually. We did read Hello Moto, which was a very, very short story as one of the group books for this readathon. The other group book that I mentioned in this vlog, the Hungry Daughters of Starving Mothers, Hungry Daughters of Starving Mothers, I think is what it is, by Alyssa Wong. That one I absolutely loved, but I actually read that at the very beginning of February. Hello Moto, again, not my favorite. I really just wish there was more. It was like 16 pages and it could have had so much more, but it wasn't bad by any means at all. And then also Song of Blood and Stone, which is like one of my new favorite books. It was just so well done. I definitely need to continue in that series. And then I might finish Wolfsong tonight. If not, I will finish it tomorrow, but it'll definitely be one of the first things that we talk about in next week's vlog because of the fact that, like, I'm so into it and we're definitely going to finish it soon. So yeah, this is me signing off. I do have videos up Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!